Okay, good evening and welcome to the National Sim Racing IROC Series race here at Daytona International Speedway using the Chevrolet Corvette C6R here. Just getting my ticker software loaded real quick. Well, we are under pacing to go green flag race. In the qualifying order is Ray Partridge, Brian Wiggins, Lyle Mitchell, John Bittler, Mark Sikoshi, Tony Kurgel, Robert Wiggins, Colton English, Jason Crumley, and Dawson Kent making up your field of 10 drivers here. $30 laps here at Daytona, and we are in for a treat with these Corvettes. Gonna be doing over 190 miles per hour here at Daytona. Pace car is in, and Ray Partridge leads this field of 10 cars to a 30-lap dash here in the National Sim Racing IROC Series at Daytona. Brian Wiggins out to an early lead on that outside line with Ray Partridge on his inside. Side by side, both cars are as they rumble down the back straightaway off of turn 2. Wiggins flashing his lights a little bit as they try to fan out a little bit. Partridge, that darker green car on the inside. You can see John Bittler, the lime green car, number 8, second on the outside, doing a good job pushing Wiggins up front. But now Partridge with a big run on the inside with help from, I believe that's Lyle Mitchell right behind him in the car that's flashing his headlights. And as they cross the stripe, it looks like it'll be Ray Partridge leading the first lap. This stream is brought to you by IRD Racing, a fuel injection and race car parts company out of Florida. Very happy to have them on board. They normally specialize in the field of carburetors and fuel injection. So if you're looking to upgrade your real-world racing program from drag racing to circle track racing, even road racing to the next level, contact the nice people at IRD Racing. There's a reason why people call them the king of carburetors. Coming out of turn 4, Partridge still nosing ahead of Brian Wiggins. No one able to break off those front two. You can see Bittler thinking about making it 3 wide, but not able to make anything happen on it just yet. Dawson Kent with the fastest lap of the race thus far with a 46.216. Kent currently running in 5th place right now. But Wiggins and Partridge swapping positions. You can see Wiggins completely clear of Partridge if he wants to drop down on the inside line, and he's going to elect to do that. Now it's Bittler and Tony Kurgel leading that outside line as they come to out of turn 4 to lap number 4. Bittler starting to get a run on Wiggins. He's to the outside of Wiggins with help from Kurgel and I believe Robert Wiggins. That white car third on the outside. 2 cars in the back are slightly behind all of these others. That's Sikoshi and Crumley towards the back of this pack, about half a second detached from the rest of this field. But Brian Wiggins with a big run on the inside, going to be completely clear of Bittler through the corner. Bittler trying to get back to the outside of Wiggins with help from Tony Kurgel and Robert Wiggins. Maybe if Dawson Kent goes up to that outside, it'll have a lot higher chance of getting Bittler to the front. But it looks like Partridge and Brian Wiggins aren't really lining up all that well, trying to get those pushes going. And it's slowing up that inside line's momentum quite heavily. You can see Bittler getting a big run into turn 1. Brian Wiggins gonna have the advantage with by taking the shorter way around, but off the corner here. That outside line should have a really big run since they have more cars, but nothing forming just yet. See everyone rumbling down the back straightaway. Bittler pulling even with Brian Wiggins coming into turn number 3 here. As we are 5 laps in 3 and 4. Coming out of turn 4, Bittler's going to have a big run on Brian Wiggins here. I won't be surprised to see if he gets clear of Brian Wiggins coming into turn 1, but it looks like not enough yet. Not enough help from Kurgel just yet to push him ahead of that number 5 of Brian Wiggins. But Bittler doing a good job keeping the car stable on the outside, keeping that momentum going. That's the most important thing you can do as a leader, especially in cars that don't push all too well, is being a stable leader on the outside. Because if you're wiggling around a lot like the inside line is doing just a little bit, you are actively losing momentum for your line. And Bittler keeping it very steady. And if he could just have one more car there, and here comes Dawson Kent to work with, he might be able to pull ahead of that inside line. Lap 6 out of 30 complete, coming to lap 7. Bittler and Brian Wiggins still duking it out for the lead here. Bittler has really shown himself as one of the best super speedway racers out of this league. Showed his muscle at Talladega and the Gen 4 Cup Series, and now is showing that he can adapt to different cars at plate tracks here in the IROC Series, using that lime green Corvette to lead the outside line, but still Wiggins with the advantage. Partridge looking to, I would not be surprised if Partridge decides to make a move on Brian Wiggins just yet. You see Bittler moving down a little bit to pinch that 5 car, causing a little bit of lateral chaos in this lead pack of about 6 cars right now. 6 to 7 cars. As Partridge clips the apron a little bit, the inside line is going to lose a lot of momentum, and that outside line might have a huge run down the back straightaway. Bittler's so close to being clear of the rest of these cars. As they're making contact in the back. I saw Robert Wiggins make door contact with the 4 of Lyle Mitchell. Dawson Kent gets shuffled back as well. He's gonna fall in line right behind Jason Crumley. And if they didn't get too much damage from that, they should be able to, at the very least, catch up to the end of the pack with Sakoshi and Lyle Mitchell lagging behind a little bit. But now the numbers go to the outside line. Lyle Mitchell with a huge head of steam on the inside, but nowhere to take it. Thought about going to the middle, but had to get off the gas once the lane closed up. Rumbling down the back straightaway here, coming to lap number 10. Both lines evenly matched in terms of momentum. Partridge doing a heck of a job keeping Wiggins in the lead, and Kurgel doing a heck of a job keeping Bittler in contention and side by side with Partridge. But Partridge clips the apron on the exit and pushes Wiggins up the track a little bit. This is going to be a good opportunity for Bittler to try to pull ahead, especially now that Partridge is a little bit behind Brian Wiggins and has to suck up to him. Well, Kurgel's already there, but it looks like Bittler still going to be about dead even with Brian Wiggins coming off of turn number 2. This is where the outside line's going to shine. You can see Lyle Mitchell making a 3-wide move for the lead, and Dawson Kent going with him in that blue number 11. Lyle Mitchell to the lead. A little bit of contact with Brian Wiggins. That inside line has pretty much completely disintegrated. We are 3 wide for the lead. Bittler stuck to the high side. 2x2. 3x3, 2 rows deep. And Bittler going to lead, coming across the stripe 3 wide. Still, they are banging doors and they're keeping it straight somehow. It's now a drag race between John Bittler and Lyle Mitchell for the lead. Mitchell going to have the advantage on the inside, and Tony Kurgel scrapes the outside wall. He's going to fall back a little bit, but it's not going to be out of the draft. So that's gonna lose John Bittler all the help that he had on the outside for the time being. But Lyle Mitchell now going to move to the lead with help from Dawson Kent and Robert Wiggins. These guys are just a little bit separated from the cars behind. but everyone's starting to get grouped together. John Bittler doing a good job of staying alongside Lyle Mitchell despite the lack of help from behind. And here comes Tony Kurgel with a huge slingshot move. Is he clear of John Bittler? No, unfortunately not. 3 wide for the lead once again with Kurgel, Bittler, and Mitchell fighting over the same position. Position number 1, you got Kurgel on the outside, Bittler in the middle, and Lyle Mitchell all the way on the inside. Bittler getting a huge push from the 11 of Dawson Kent. But Mitchell going to have the shortest way around the track. Kurgel stuck on the outside with no help, but he's still doing a good job keeping with these guys. He's going to have a run off the top side and going to pull even once again. It is 3x3 here across the stripe for the lead. Once again, coming from lap 12 to lap number 13 here in the NSR IROC series. Kurgel's pokes ahead entering turn 1, but Lyle Mitchell with the shortest way around the track gonna wrap that inside line and pull ahead of Kurgel, and Bittler able to clear Kurgel as well. So now the outside line being led by Bittler and Kurgel. Now Robert Wiggins looking to join in on the fun here. Thought about making it 3 wide, but backed out of it. So it's just the 8 and the 4 car of John Bittler and Lyle Mitchell going at it here. 2x2, 2 rows deep, and then there's Robert Wiggins, and then a little bit of separation between the leaders, or between the top 5 and the rest of the field. Lyle Mitchell still leading the way with help from Dawson Kent. John Bittler having a huge head of steam on the outside. That's a huge run that got built up with help from Tony Kurgel and Robert Wiggins. Rumbling down the back straight. Bittler not clear just yet of Lyle Mitchell. So Lyle Mitchell is going to take what he can get into turn 1. Maybe a little bit of side-by-side contact from Mitchell and Bittler, but no harm, no foul. They keep it straight. But that definitely hurt the momentum of the outside lane just a little bit when they made contact like that. Mitchell still leading the way as we approach the halfway point in this race here. Still doing battle with John Bittler for the lead as they rumble down the back straightaway once again. Bittler with a little bit of an awkward push from Kurgel. Lyle Mitchell with an awkward push from Dawson Kent. Bittler going to drop to the bottom and clear Lyle Mitchell for the lead here. So now it is John Bittler leading the inside lane, and it's going to be Tony Kurgel leading the outside here as Mark Sikoshi and Jason Crumley starting to catch back up to the lead pack as things are getting dicey here. We are past halfway in the first race of the National Sim Racing IROC series at Daytona. Lyle Mitchell leading the way once again, poking ahead of John Bittler as he moves back to the top. And both cars about dead even, give the advantage to John Bittler as he's going to nose ahead, entering 3, but Mitchell going to retake that top spot through 3 and 4. Might be able to clear Bittler as Dawson Kent moves up the track a little bit. Doors Bittler just slightly. Does Lyle Mitchell keep wrapping that inside line, or does he try to move to that outside line? Looks like he's going to remain on that inside line, so Bittler going to have another run at it with help from Tony Kurgel, Robert Wiggins, and I believe that is that's the 5 of Brian Wiggins in the back. So he's caught back up to the lead pack, but John Bittler with a huge burst of momentum down the back straightaway, just not clear yet over Lyle Mitchell. If he could just get one fender width or one fender length really ahead of Lyle Mitchell down the back straightaway, he'd be able to clear him every lap, but it's that 1 foot of space that makes him not clear and keeps Lyle Mitchell leading the way on the bottom here with 13 laps to go. You see Brian Wiggins and Robert Wiggins moving to the high side, looking to make this a 3-lane battle for the lead here with 13 laps to go. Mitchell on the bottom, Bittler making contact with him. Oh, that inside and middle lane's getting squirrely. Brian Wiggins going to clear every lane on the outside since he didn't lose any momentum from that. Wiggins going to drop to the bottom. Mitchell going to have to slot in behind Brian Wiggins. And yes, he's not going to be able to make a move on Brian Wiggins for the lead. So now the lanes are going to be Kurgel, Bittler, and Brian Wiggins. Bittler left out to dry in the sucker hole in the middle. He's going to try to pinch him as much as possible. A little bit of contact between Mitchell and Brian Wiggins. Mitchell goes hard into the wall. Oh, that's a hard hit for Lyle Mitchell. No caution just yet, as Lyle Mitchell towed it into pit lane. And that's very unfortunate for him, as I think that he probably led most of the laps of this race, or a good chunk of them. But now it's Ray Partridge leading the inside line with the sudden absence of Lyle Mitchell. John Bittler still leading the outside, and whoa, something happened with Jason Crumley in the back. He's lost the draft of Mark Sakoshi. But leading the way, entering turn 1, it is Ray Partridge taking charge, but John Bittler trying to build runs on the outside line, and that seems to be where he likes to be, on that outside line. Get some great runs down the back straightaway, but the thing is that he just can't get clear of the car on the inside, no matter how hard Tony Kurgel pushes him. And Tony Kurgel is doing an outstanding job of pushing that 88 car. And I don't think that the bumpers are line up completely well on these Corvette IROC cars. So one wrong move by a millimeter can push someone sideways and have an event like what happened to Lyle Mitchell, where you just get punted, for lack of a better word, into the inside wall. But you can see Robert Wiggins in the white car trying to make a 3-wide move on Tony Kurgel. Kurgel shuts the door on him, and Bittler has about a nose ahead entering turn 3, as Brian Wiggins makes it 3 wide in the back of the pack to try and work his way forward, but that does not work in his favor, and that inside line does not have any help. It's just Ray Partridge by himself waiting for Dawson Kent to try and suck up into it. Robert Wiggins thought about diving low, but thought otherwise. Ray Partridge still able to keep up with that outside line, showing you how much one car by themselves can do. But Bittler might be able to get clear of Partridge coming into turn 3. Does he go to the bottom? No, he stays up top. Tony Kurgel wondering what he can do to try and lead a line for the first time this race. But he's still having to push that number 8 of John Bittler. As Ray Partridge moving up the track a little bit, it's very scary on the inside to move up the track, because you give the person behind you the opportunity to force it 3 and lead to a very hairy situation. But Dawson Kent remaining committed to push that 29 as hard as he can, or to push that 7 of Ray Partridge as hard as he can. Tony Kurgel side by side with Dawson Kent, pushing John Bittler as hard as he can, and then the 2 Wiggins laying back a little bit from this lead group of 4, maybe thinking about trying to set up some sort of slingshot 3-wide move. As with super speedway racing, a lot of times it is chess, not checkers, as contact between Partridge and Bittler. That's going to slow Bittler down a lot on the outside, and Partridge is going to get completely clear of the 8 car. Dawson Kent hoping that Partridge jumps to the high side, but Partridge remaining committed to the bottom. Bittler going to rebuild that momentum for him, and now Partridge gets shoved a little sideways down the back straightaway, killing his momentum. Does Bittler drop to the bottom? Almost clear of Partridge, but not so much. So it's still going to be Ray Partridge leading the bottom lane with 7 laps to go. As you can see, Brian Wiggins in that yellow Corvette jumping to the high side. Bittler looking to go with him, and that's going to leave Kurgel in the middle, and that might make Kurgel the new leader on the outside. Yes, Tony Kurgel now leading the outside lane. Bittler trying to build a run around him, but Kurgel doing his best to hamper the efforts of John Bittler, it seems. But Bittler with a big run on the outside, nosing ahead of Kurgel. 3 wide for the lead going into turn number 3. 3 wide, 2 rows deep with 6 laps to go. One wrong move can spell the end for this entire pack right here. And Ray Partridge leads them to 5 laps to go here in the National Sim Racing IROC Series, presented by IRD Racing. The 2 Wiggins, Robert and Brian, the yellow and white cars making contact, but contact between Partridge. Oh my goodness gracious, that is the entire lead back. Huge hit for John Bittler. Sakoshi involved. We saw Robert Wiggins involved as well. I think we saw Tony Kurgel and Ray Partridge involved as well. I think the only 2 cars to get out of it without a scratch is Dawson Kent and Brian Wiggins. But that is definitely something worthy of a replay. So let's see how that unfolded, coming to 5 laps to go here at Daytona. So looking at Dawson Kent, actually let's look at Ray Partridge leading that inside line, and it looks like he just moves up the track into Kurgel, and then nowhere for Kurgel to go as he's being actively moved up the track. I don't know if Partridge got. Oh, it actually looks like Partridge got a shove from Dawson Kent that moved him up the track, and that just obliterated that obliterated 6 out of the 8 cars in the lead pack. You can see just by this freeze frame, Bittler, Kurgel, Partridge, Robert Wiggins, Mark Sakoshi, and Jason Crumley all involved in that. A huge hit for John Bittler. And what ends a seemingly amazing race for him, just to all go up in smoke. Everyone trying to get their car towed or damage repaired. Wow, there's not really one good pit lane camera. But Ray Partridge without a front end, and I'm pretty sure a very damaged suspension, going to jump into pit lane. And I think the only car not going into pit lane is going to be Dawson Kent and the 45 of Colton English, who was running about 20 seconds off of the lead pack for the entire race up to this point. And it seems to be that strategy has paid off in spades, as he was nowhere near that wreck as it occurred. And he has one of 2 undamaged cars left in this race. Brian Wiggins looks like he got any damage that he had repaired, and everyone else currently in pit lane. See Mark Sakoshi going around to get damage fixed on that car to try and have a chance with less than 5 laps to go here. But Dawson Kent, I don't know if I don't know if it was just a bad bump which shot Partridge up the track, or Partridge just ended up drifting up the track a little bit. I don't know if I don't know what exactly happened. It looks like Kent might have just pitched him sideways, and since these bumpers aren't completely flat, you do have to push very square to make sure that that pointed end pushes you straight and not shoots you off to the side. But we currently have 3 cars that are in a raceable condition. As you know, Ray Partridge does not have a right front tire. John Bittler's car is completely destroyed. Mark Sikoshi has a destroyed car. Same with Robert Wiggins. Crumley's car is absolutely mangled. And Lyle Mitchell is 7 laps down and still hasn't gotten his repairs completed. So it looks like we're going to have a 3-horse race for the win here. As they still have not gotten out of pit lane. So your 3 contenders for the win here is going to be Dawson Kent, Colton English, and Brian Wiggins. So Mark Sikoshi making it back on track, but that car is going to be way off the pace due to it not having a front end and probably having engine issues with how hard he hit a car during that wreck. But now the last position you want to be in, if you're Dawson Kent, is the leader with 5 laps to go, especially in cars that produce such a slingshot effect, like these Chevy Corvettes do. They just love to get massive runs, thanks to those sleek bodies and those real tall spoilers that they got to keep the cars glued to the ground. Pace car pulling into pit lane for a pivotal first and final restart of the National Sim Racing IROC Series first race. Dawson Kent gets a good start and pulls out to an early lead over Colton English and Brian Wiggins. Colton English looking to suck up to the back of Kent as much as possible. Kent going all the way to the top to try and minimize the slingshot that he has, but Colton English already getting a big run to Dawson Kent's inside. Brian Wiggins looking to make a move whenever he feels that would be the right time to. So currently Colton English leading the way with Brian Wiggins and Dawson Kent right behind him. 3 laps to go here around the 2.5 mile long Daytona International Speedway. Side by side for the lead with Dawson Kent and Colton English. Brian Wiggins lagging back a little bit. When will he decide to strike? We might have I would not be surprised if we had a 3-wide finish here for the win when Brian Wiggins tries to make a slingshot on the last lap. The move is going to be made out of turn 4, I presume. Dawson Kent just got put into the outside wall after contact with Colton English. So now that changes the dynamic of this a lot, as Brian Wiggins is going to be right behind Colton English and going to try to make a move around him on the outside with 2 laps to go. It is a 2-car race for the win in the first IROC Series race of the season. And it looks like Wiggins is going to have the momentum around Colton English. So now the aero games begin with Brian Wiggins leading Colton English coming to the white flag. Maybe Brian Wiggins acted a little too soon with his move on Colton English, because I would not be surprised if Colton English lags back a little bit, gets a huge run. But, looks like Colton English is going to fire off on the outside. White flag in the air here between Colton English and Brian Wiggins. Cars 5 and 45 going at it into turns 1 and 2. They're side by side, giving each other a lot of room. Colton English going to try to use that banking to his advantage to get a huge run on Wiggins down the back straightaway. He has the outside of Brian Wiggins. Brian Wiggins unable to block. They're side by side coming down the back straightaway. Colton English not able to get clear of Brian Wiggins. They're still going to be side by side. Entering turn 3, Wiggins with the advantage. Colton English going to try to cut down the track to get one final run coming to the line. Colton English to the outside. Brian Wiggins to the inside. Colton English has a huge run on the outside. They make contact coming across the line. That sends Colton English sideways. He overcorrects into the wall, and it's going to be Brian Wiggins winning the first National Sim Racing IROC Series race here at Daytona in wild fashion. And he might be the only car on track with that is not insanely damaged. Because I'm pretty sure everyone else has a destroyed race car. So it's going to be Brian Wiggins coming home with the win. And all the glory that comes with a National Sim Racing IROC Series win at Daytona. Let's get your finishing results up on the board. It's going to be Brian Wiggins coming home first place in car number 5. Then it's going to be Colton English in car 45 right behind him, wrecking across the line in second. Mark Sakoshi comes home in third, with Dawson Kent in car 46 coming in fourth. Robert Wiggins in the 26 comes home in fifth. Rounding out your top 5. First car outside of the top 5 is the number 29, or sorry, not number 29, number 7 of Ray Partridge. And in 7th is John Bittler in car number 8. Tony Kurgel coming home in 8th, with Jason Crumley 9th and Lyle Mitchell in 10th. Brian Wiggins trying his best to do burnouts on the front banking of Daytona. Do we get an interview going here? See if we can get some drivers to have some interviews. So we'll be on standby for just 1 second. Please stand by. Okay, so we got at least one person for an interview. Let's get him into the booth real quick. Coming home in second, it's Colton English in car number 45. You got a copy?
I got a copy. What's going on, man?
So it looks like for a lot of the race, you were just having fun by yourself, running about 15 seconds behind, and the entire field wrecked in front of you. What was going through your mind when that happened?
Man, I was actually waiting for a caution. I missed the start of the race, so I was praying for a caution so I could catch back up, and it played out into my favor.
Well, it was a blessing in disguise for you because, I mean, it was a massive wreck that took out everyone and it propelled you from essentially last to second place. So, coming to the last lap, what was your strategy to try and get around Brian? And it just resulted in you coming up just a bit short. But I wanted to get some insight into what your strategy was on that last lap.
So coming to that last lap, I saw him. We were pretty neck and neck going into one. I actually tried getting out of the gas some so that I could get behind him, and I think he was actually trying to do the same because as I was letting off the gas, he wasn't getting ahead of me. Um, so eventually he did. Coming out of two, I got behind him and got a little run coming out of four, and we just got together, hard racing, both of us wanting the win, and still came home second. So I can't complain.
And you know what? You're right. You can't complain with the second place finish. So before we let you go and ride that good momentum into the next National Sim Racing League race, do you have any people or sponsors that you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank the Texas Scumbags for some. One of us had to get a podium finish, and I'm happy it was me.
All right. Well, that's Colin English, driver of car number 45, coming home a very solid second place here at Daytona. We look forward to seeing you in the next race.
Appreciate it, bud.
All right. And since we got Brian Wiggins into the booth, oop, oh gosh, dang it. Okay, I he was going to be in a broadcast interview, but he left right as I was trying to get to him. So, and third, it's Mark Sikoshi, uh, a lot more battered than he'd probably like to be, but either way, a third place is a third place. How you feeling?
Um, I'm not sure. Uh, I mean, we just kind of lucked into a third place. I thought we were gonna. We could have possibly missed that big wreck. We probably should have waited another lap before we got up in there. But you never know when these are gonna happen. Um, yeah, it looks like we were gonna have minimal damage, and then Crumley come flying up behind us and just pushed us into it, and yeah, we had heavy damage. So we're just limping around there the last few laps, and I'm not sure what happened to Dawson. I seen his uh, right front tire kind of jutted out towards the outside wall, and he started dropping speed, and so we got around him and lucked into a third place.
Yeah, Dawson Kent made contact with I believe Wiggins with
Mm.
Brian Wiggins and just got projected into the outside wall. But what was your plan throughout the race? We saw you laying back within drafting distance at the very edge of the lead pack. So were you just hoping that a caution would come out, take out some cars, and make your job easier? And just unfortunately, you got involved in that one and only massive wreck that happened.
Yeah, exactly. We were just waiting on the big one, and you get within five to go, and it's like, all right, well, you kind of want to be there. If it's not going to happen, it might happen, but you never know. And if they start making moves, you want to be able to get up in there and get out front because once it gets clogged, you get three wide, it's going to be hard to go anywhere. So, um, yeah, we figured we'd go to the bottom and kind of help that line, maybe get ahead of the other lines, and maybe we could then, do something between the three of us. But didn't work out that way. Looks like Ray got a bad push from Dawson. You really don't want to push with these things. You're probably a little faster just riding behind a guy. If you get a run, take it. It's gonna be a lot faster. But yeah, they're all learning.
So yeah, before we let you go and ride the good momentum of a third place finish into the next national sim racing race, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, we gotta thank all the drivers that showed up tonight. We gotta thank IRD Racing for sponsoring not only the Gen 4 series but also the IROC series. Um, gotta thank you for doing a great job with the broadcasting. And gotta thank my admin team. Gotta thank Lyle for Lyle got to come out and have some fun tonight. He's usually doing race control, so we gotta thank him for doing that for us. And I think that's about it.
All right, well, Mark Sikoshi coming home in third without a front end, but hey, a third place is a third place. We will see you next or this Saturday at Legacy, Texas. That's right, it's Legacy, Texas.
That's right. Yeah, we'll see you there.
All right. A little bit of an unconventional interview order, but we have Brian Wiggins back in the interview booth. And Brian Wiggins coming home with the win. You got a copy?
I do. I got you.
So, what happened with that huge wreck coming to 5 to go? Because it was essentially just you and Dawson Kent, the only two clean cars out of that, and then Colton about 15 seconds behind. So I kind of wanted your insight on that huge calamity that happened with 5 laps to go.
I don't know what happened. I seen smoke. I got out of it. I dove low and hoped for the best, and luckily I made it through there.
And I mean, it paid off in spades. You came home victorious. So, with 1 lap to go, it was just you and Colton. What was your strategy regarding that? Because typically in those situations, you don't want to be the person leading because you leave yourself open to slingshot passes. And it seems like you did a great job of defending that lead and preventing Colton from getting around you.
Yeah, it was. There's really, it's hit or miss, man. So I was in the lead, and I was like, all right, we got to do our best to defend here, and I tried to make it hard for him to pass me by, drifting up slowly to make him feel a little uncomfortable next to the wall, and I guess it paid off.
Yeah, I would say it paid off too. So before we let you go and celebrate this win just a little bit more, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we turn you loose?
Yeah, of course, I got to thank IRD, Bitler. Got to thank Mark for putting this whole thing together. You, Garrett, you do a great job in the booth. We love you, man. And then yeah, just my teammates, Ray and James, Dylan, and of course Adam before. He wasn't here tonight, but he'll be here next time. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this IROC. It was intense, wasn't it?
I'd say it was pretty intense, but coming home victorious, it's Brian Wiggins, your winner for tonight's race in the National Sim Racing IROC Series at Daytona. We look forward to seeing what you can do in the Gen 4 cars at Legacy, Texas.
I will see you next week, Garrett. Thank you, man.
All right, and with that said and done, I can get that little graphic off the screen. I can turn the camera to scenic, and we can conclude this broadcast of the National Sim Racing IROC Series. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Garrett Hess. You're watching this on my YouTube channel. Big thanks to IRD Racing for sponsoring this and making this possible. Big thanks to everyone who turned out. And big thanks to SKS Graphics and Andrew Schulte for their ticker and ticker help. Could not do this broadcasting thing without them. And thank you, the viewer, for watching. My name is Garrett Hess. You're watching my YouTube channel. I will see you next Saturday night on Fireball Talks NASCAR when National Sim Racing Gen 4 Cup Series goes to Legacy, Texas. I'll see you there.